Going to shield up the incoming Brave Bird. We're then going to throw 2 Mud Shots and the Outrage for optimal fast move timing with a lowered defense. This is going to be massive overkill. Get that Ho-Oh out of here. The opponent's final Pokemon is the ever annoying Tin Can. We reached the Earthquake, but is Earthquake enough to knock out? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. So welcome back to the channel. It's been a few days. Life's been very hectic, but we're not going to get into that. What we are going to get into is an incredible battle submission from my friend and actually my local Ripley. Ripley is also a fellow content creator. He's going to be linked down below. Make sure you go check him out. And he is running an incredibly spicy team in the Open Master League. We're going to be taking a look at a very cool flex of a shiny Greninja, a Pokemon we don't see too commonly, but it certainly has the coverage to hit some top meta threats. And then we've got the star of the show, a perfect 100% IV Shadow Garchomp, maxed out all the way to level 50. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game number 1, Ripley off to a tough start, leading Melmetal into Solgaleo. We see the pivot into Greninja, and the opponent stays in. Greninja goes straight for the Night Slash, fishing for the boost. We don't see a boost, we do force ourselves. Early shield advantage. The opponent then send out a Bite Tyranitar. The opponent completely core broken by Greninja. The super spammy Greninja fires off the Hydro Cannon, landing on Tyranitar for huge damage. Ripley now fires off the Night Slash, looking to get Tyranitar out of here, and the opponent invests that final Protect Shield, and there is the boost. We see the instant shield deployed. Greninja looking to sweep the team. We get the full Water Shriek and Farm Down. Back out comes Solgaleo, but unfortunately, we're going to lose Charge Move priority event. But undeterred, Ripley invests that final Protect Shield. How much damage will this boosted Night Slash do? Night Slash lands, getting Solgaleo below half health. Ripley then continuing to overfarm, maximising his energy. Fires off Night Slash. Number 2. Get that Solgaleo out of here. The opponent's final Pokemon is Mewtwo. Greninja fires off the next Night Slash. Night Slash gets them below half health. We then pivot back out into Melmetal, and that's going to be all she wrote. Shadow Garchomp, very much the MVP. In the next battle, we see a very nice lead. Melmetal able to hit Hisuian Avalugg for super effective with the Rock Slide, and double super effective with the superpower. Ripley fires off the Rock Slide, and you can see Hisuian Avalugg has very respectable bulk, as it doesn't even do half health. Avalugg returns fire with the Icy Wind, which does pretty much nothing. As we're now debuffed, Ripley recognising Rock Slide certainly won't get the job done. Full sends the superpower, securing the knockout. Out comes Kyogre, and we see the pivot into Greninja. I like this pivot a lot. As the opponent stayed in such a poor matchup in the lead, they must be weak to Melmetal in the back. Ripley recognising that, say switches into Ninja, and he's going to start ripping off Night Slash after Night Slash, fishing for another boost. The RNG gods tell Ripley not to be so greedy. You had all your boost luck in game number 1. The opponent build up some energy and then send out Dialga. So indeed, the team is ABA weak to Melmetal. We fire off yet another Night Slash. We still don't see a boost. Ripley says, fuck it, we'll fire off the 4th, which lands, getting Dialga down below half health. We then send back out Melmetal. Ripley going straight for the superpower. Does the opponent respect the damage? Oh, all I wanted to see was a basic bitch Tin Can get nuked. However, the opponent invested that Protect Shield. Ripley says, don't worry, Jamie Finn, I've got you, buddy. Shields up his Melmetal, returns fire with superpower. Number 2, get that Dialga out of here. Back out comes Kyogre. The opponent looks to dump energy, and Ripley finally going to give Garchomp some screen time. So this is going to be a video of 2 halves. In these first battles, Ripley has got Legacy Earth Power. However, when he first built this, we was running the Hail Mary of Earthquake. Ripley fires off the Earth Power. The only lose con would be getting hit with a double super effective Blizzard. The opponent plays the win con. YOLO in the nuke. We invest that Protect Shield. Garchomp reaches Earth Power, number 2, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we lead Melmetal into Groudon. Oof, tough lead. This time we're going to say switch into Garchomp, and the opponent respond with Zarude. We're going to go straight for the Outrage. Zarude incredibly thick, but Garchomp hits like a truck. Holy. Despite us being a ground type and the opponent being a grass type, our sub-dragon typing means all moves are only neutral. Garchomp tanks the Power Whip like an absolute boss. Returns fire with the Earth Power. Earth Power secures the knockout, and just like that, switch advantage is ours. Back out comes Groudon, and the opponent's going to look to dump a Fire Punch, not wanting to get hit with another charge move. The resisted Fire Punch secures the knockout. However, Ripley now has the option to realign, and of course we're going to send out Greninja. Ripley goes straight for the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon forces a Protect Shield. The opponent then pivots out into the basic bitch tin can, and winning switch with the power of Shadow Garchomp proves to be very critical in this battle. Melmetal is essentially the arch nemesis for Dialga, as we resist all charge moves and we're able to hit back this stupid tin can for super effective. Ripley fires off the first superpower, getting Dialga below half health. We then see Ripley make a very heads up play, undercharging the second superpower, recognising a potential lose con would be letting Groudon farm down our Melmetal and landing the Precipice Blades on our Greninja. Ripley elects to let Melmetal go down, back out comes Groudon. I've got zero doubt in my mind the opponent's going to be looking to masturbate their way through this matchup, killing a poor defenseless cat in the process. However, no amount of masturbating will be saving this opponent's fate from our very spammy Frog. Ripley gonna burn the final Protect Shield. Of course the opponent bait once again, but trainer Greninja far too spammy for any of that nonsense. Hydro Cannon secures the knockout, back out comes Dialga. Greninja Water Shriek and farms down, and we take that game. In the next battle we see Glaceon. What is that doing on my screen? The opponent safe switch into Mewtwo. Ripley builds up some energy, looks to catch a charge move onto Greninja. We're unsuccessful. The opponent has enough for a Focus Blast. We respect it, and holy, the opponent full YOLO the nuke. Fair play. Very good shield from Ripley, as Focus Blast would probably kill this Greninja and every Greninja everyone else has ever powered up. Ripley fires off Night Slash number 2, looking to get Mewtwo out of here. The opponent invests that Protect Shield, looking to get off the next Focus Blast. We see Ripley very wisely burn the final Protect Shield, looking to keep that very positive alignment we had in the lead. Greninja then gets a huge Water Shrieker farm down. The opponent send out their third, which is revealed to be their own Melmetal. Ripley rips off yet another Night Slash, and still we see no boost. Holy Ripley. Your RNG luck not on point today. The second time Ripley fires off the Hydro Cannon, looking to maximise his damage output. Greninja still not done. Fires off a Night Slash, forcing the opponent to burn that final shield. Holy cow, Greninja's spammy. The opponent then throw another surprise nuke, landing the Thunderbolt on an unshielded Greninja. They then pivot out into Glaceon. We then answer with Melmetal, fire off the Superpower. Superpower isn't enough to knock out Ripley, now heavily overfarms. Fires off the Rock Slide, despite debuffing our own attack Rock Slide. Going to be massive overkill. Back out comes the opponent's Melmetal. We reach the Superpower, and Melmetal is going to sweep the backline. GG's, and thanks for playing. For the remainder of the video, we're going to see a change of lead. Melmetal has been substituted for Excadrill, and this is earlier in the season, where Garchomp was still running Earthquake before we invest in Elite TM for its legacy move of Earth Power. Returning to the commentary, we see Excadrill into Gyarados, a matchup we more commonly saw in Master League Premier Classic. Speaking of which, Niantic, where's my favourite league? Ripley shields up the Aqua Tail, returns fire with Rock Slide number 2, forcing a shield back. We then see the pivot into Greninja, and Greninja goes straight for the Night Slash, looking to get Gyarados out of here. The opponent invests that Protect Shield. We get the boost as the opponent shielded. Have they got Outrage? We're going to see Ripley respect it. The opponent fires off the Crunch. This can only be a Crunch or Aqua Tail. However, Greninja, much like Excadrill, can't really tank a hit for shit, and you can see we're already approaching the red. Ripley heavily overfarms, fires off the Night Slash. Night Slash secures the knockout. What does the opponent send out into our loaded, boosted Greninja? Old Trainer Metagross certainly isn't what you're looking for. We fire off the Night Slash, Switch Timer pops up. We pivot out into Excadrill. The opponent sends out their own Excadrill behind on energy. High Mole, Bye Mole, get wrecked, back out. Comes Metagross, and Excadrill going to be able to outpace the Drill Run number 2, and Ripley's going to take the dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the Excadrill Mirror. I usually hate mirror matches as they're incredibly boring. Think of a Azumarill into Azumarill. However, this matchup's pretty fun as both players have the ability to one-shot the other one. Ripley farms up, loses charge move priority event, so we're forced to shield first. We return fire with the Drill Run, and then we see the pivot into Greninja. Our Greninja safe switch is answered by Rayquaza. Rayquaza usage is down this season, mostly thanks to the Breaking Swipe nerf, as Breaking Swipe no longer has a guaranteed chance to lower attack. The super spammy Greninja spamming out Night Slash after Night Slash. Rayquaza not the bulkiest, but easily able to tank too. Ripley recognising we're going to be unable to take back switch, just elects to let Greninja go down. We send back out Excadrill. Ripley very nicely overfarms, fires off the Rock Slide, securing the knockout. We once again enter the Excadrill Mirror, and again we play to a CMP tie. We do not win. Ripley going to put all his hopes and dreams on the back of Garchomp, looking to sweep. However, the probability of that happening are looking essentially slim to none as the opponent's got Dragonite in the back. You can see Dragon Breath tearing it apart. It looks like Ripley's hit the BM Earthquake. We shield up the incoming Dragon Claw return fire with the double resisted Earthquake, and then I think we're going to top left. GG's to that opponent. In the next battle, once again, we see the Excadrill mirror. Last time, Ripley lost CMP, however, this opponent running an underleveled Excadrill, so it's going to be an easy CMP tie win. Ripley goes straight for the Drill Run. Drill Run, of course, forces a Protect Shield. Ripley gonna shield back. Ripley's got to be mindful the opponent might look to catch the next Drill Run as they know they lose CMP. However, Ripley has other ideas, pivots into Greninja, drawing out Gyarados. Ripley very happy to bait out the Dragon Breath user. As we saw in the last battle, our Shadow Garchomp using Mud Shot does not appreciate Dragon Breath users. The opponent doesn't build up to an outrage, so we see the instant no shield deployed. Ripley still spamming out Night Slash after Night Slash. Can we double up? Ripley looking to double up, and we should survive that Dragon Breath. So we're either going to take switch or force the final shield. The decision is going to lie with the opponent. What do they want to do? We fire off the next Night Slash. The opponent invests a final Protect Shield, and we've now got Garchomp with a Protect Shield for whatever they've got in the back. We send out Excadrill, tank the Aqua Tail. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, send back out their own Excadrill. We see the instant no shield deployed. Drill Run secures the knockout, and let's go Garchomp. Greninja's essentially stolen the spotlight to this point in the videos. We haven't seen Garchomp tank too many hits, although if Ripley looks for the full Mud Shot farm down, which he's doing, Garchomp's bulk is about to be put to the test. Drill Run does around 50% of our HP. The opponent sends back out Gyarados. We fire off the Outrage. What's that third Pokemon? Oh, hello, trainer. They enter the Garchomp mirror. Behind on energy, we reach the Outrage, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Excadrill into Big Boy Snorlax. The opponent has the potential to land huge damage with the Super Power, although this is certainly a Body Slam. And if you're wondering how I know that, it's going to take them 14 licks to their first Super Power, the equivalent of 7 Mud Shots, and they threw before we threw our 7th, so it can only be a Body Slam. Again, the opponent throws a Body Slam on our Say Switch Greninja. So how I count one turn moves, I just count my own move. So when we use an Excadrill, it'll be 2, 4, 6, 8. When using Greninja, it'll be 3, 6, 9, etc. Despite the opponent going straight Body Slam all the way, we're going to see Ripley invest the Protect Shield as Greninja's got so much energy. Ripley farms up to 100 energy, fires off the Hydro Cannon. If the opponent shields this, we're going to be able to fire off back to back, and that's exactly what we see happen. Is the opponent willing to 2-shield Snorlax? No, they're not. The opponent now sends out Dragonite looking for the Dragon Breath farm down, but Greninja refuses to die, reaches the departing Night Slash for some very solid chip damage. We then send back our Excadrill, fire off the Rock Slide. That Night Slash is going to be critical as it will pretty much put them into Rock Slide range. The opponent's final Pokemon is Vaporeon. We see a very nice catch of the Aqua Tail onto Garchomp. Ripley has manoeuvred himself into a very solid position. All he's got to do is save his Protect Shield for the potential Super Power on Excadrill. You can see Garchomp able to tank multiple Aqua Tails. Ripley now going to overfarm, fire off the Earthquake, guaranteeing the knockout. Earthquake does do more damage than Outrage. Earthquake secures the knockout, back out comes Dragonite. Dragonite does get the Dragon Breath farm down, and this is exactly why we saved our shield. The opponent fire off the Dragon Claw bait. Ripley at the back-to-back Rock Slide. So if one isn't lethal, we're going to be able to fire off the second. And Ripley's going to take another very well played game. GG's, make sure you go give Ripley a follow as he runs some really cool spice and he's a very talented battler. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death Master League Edition. We save switch into Greninja. The opponent build up some energy, attempt to catch the Hydro Cannon onto Zekrom where it would be resisted, but Ripley holds his energy and is going to start unleashing Night Slash after Night Slash. Show me the boost. Night Slash does have a 10% chance of the boost, so 1 in 10. Although if you watch a lot of content, people that use Night Slash users would make it look a lot more prevalent than that. Ripley has lost switch, but we've actually found ourselves in a pretty advantageous spot as we're going to be able to get a very nice Mud Shot farm down off Zekrom, and the Rock Slide is going to be double super effective into Ho-Oh. Back out comes Ho-Oh, we fire off 2 Mud Shots and the Rock Slide will be forcing a Protect Shield. Ripley then throws 1 Mud Shot and the Rock Slide, and that's very important. If we would have thrown 2, we would have got taken out by the Incinerate that would register on turn 4. We then send out Garchomp with a 2 to no shield advantage. We shield up the Brave Bird. Ho-Oh going to be able to outpace the Brave Bird number 2, and we're going to see Ripley invest that final Protect Shield. The opponent continued to stay in, so Ripley fires off 2 mud shots and the outrage, which is going to be massive overkill on the debuffed Ho-Oh. The opponent's final Pokemon is Dialga. Dialga might think it's thick, but is it thick enough? We fire off the Earthquake. Get that Dialga out of here. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see Excadrill into Purified Mewtwo. We see the instant pivot into Greninja, and this time we see the opponent making the very nice catch, catching the Night Slash onto the basic bitch tin can, which is here, there, and every fucking where. This is by no means a good matchup for Greninja, as the Dragon Breaths are going to tear us apart, and these Night Slashes don't do too much damage. If we got a boost, we might be able to force a Protect Shield, but you can see Ripley's boost luck not on point. Speaking of which, finally we get the boost. I think all my complaining come in clutch there, if I'm honest. The opponent commits the Protect Shield, then get the full Dragon Breath farm down. We can send out Excadrill, even a Draco won't be lethal. The opponent actually bait with an Iron Head, which might actually keep our Excadrill out of Side Strike range. Side Strike, a very hard hitting move. Can Excadrill survive the incoming Side Strike? Yes, we can. Left deep in the red, Ripley returns fire with the Drill Run. I think if we don't pivot, we might get farmed down. Ripley looking to commit to the next charge move, worried about getting farmed down, does eventually pivot. We send out Garchomp. Garchomp going to be shielding up the incoming Side Strike. The opponent's counting absolutely on point. They attempt to catch the Outrage onto Excadrill. Ripley holds his energy and actually fires off the Outrage anyway, which forces the opponent's final shield. Ripley now needs to manage his energy near perfectly to sweep up. Garchomp has the higher attack, so we throw 5 mud shots, throw the Earthquake on the CMP tie. And Ripley is going to pull off the dub. Mewtwo's going to need to double up, but that simply isn't going to happen. Oof. We actually attempt to make a catch for no reason whatsoever, but luckily for us, we have hit the CMP tie. We shield up the Side Strike, return fire with the Outrage. Ripley almost gives me a heart attack, but we managed to take that game. GG's. In the next battle, we see Excadrill into Mewtwo. Of course, Focus Blast will one-shot us, and we actually die to 2 Side Strikes. The opponent, recognising that, are going straight Side Strike all the way. You can see it does around 50%. We return fire with the Drill Run. So there's actually going to be a loss in the Zero Shield. However, to my surprise, the opponent invests an early Protect Shield onto Mewtwo, then stay in school, kids, learn to count. Ripley makes a very nice double-resisted Side Strike catch onto Greninja. However, the opponent has a very nice counter for our Greninja in the form of Dragonite. Greninja is going to reach 2 Night Slashes, which will at least put this thing into Rock Slide range. However, Dragonite is going to get a very nice Dragon Breath farm down, and Excadrill is about to play the bait game. As our Excadrill's chipped, even a Dragon Claw would probably put us into Dragon Breath farm down range. Ripley, recognising our Garchomp wants no part of this Dragonite, shields up the Dragon Claw, returns fire with the Rock Slide, forcing the opponent's final shield. We're going to be forced to shield back, as this Dragonite's still far too healthy for our Garchomp. Ripley overfarms just a touch, fires off the Rock Slide, secures the knockout, back out comes Mewtwo. As we overfarm, we're going to be able to fire off a Drill Run before Mewtwo reaches the Side Strike. Drill Run lands for some decent neutral damage. We stay in, force the opponent to throw. Garchomp is now tasked with cleaning up. We send out Garchomp. The opponent pivot out into their own Excadrill. Excadrill is going to reach the Drill Run, but Drill Run won't be enough to knock out. We can then once again throw 5 mud shots, throw the Earthquake on the CMP tie. You know the drill. High Excadrill, buy Excadrill. We need Mewtwo to be 4 off to manage to outpace. The opponent is only 3 off. They're going to win CMP, and unfortunately, despite Ripley managing his energy well, we're going to take the loss. In the next battle, we get an opportunity for some redemption, seeing the same lead of Mewtwo. This time, Ripley banks his energy, catches a double-resisted Side Strike onto Greninja, and the opponent makes a very strange counter swap, sending out Giratina Origin into our Dark type. To make matters worse for the opponent, we get the boost. Let's go, Greninja. Ripley going to invest the Protect Shield on the incoming Shadow Ball. Is this boosted Night Slash now enough to knock out? Night Slash goes unshielded. Can we get the Water Shriek and farm down? Oof. No, we can't. Ripley going to go all in on his Greninja. We shield up the Ominous Wind. We get the Water Shriek and farm down. Is the opponent core broken by Greninja? Certainly not. The opponent must have misclicked, as Togekiss would have been the correct play, but that boosted Hydro Cannon lands for huge damage on Togekiss. We now send out Excadrill, fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide forces the opponent's first protection, then pivot back out into Mewtwo. We bank some energy and then send out Garchomp. Essentially, we're going to sacrifice it to the Poke Gods. Garchomp should survive any one move as long as the opponent doesn't have Ice Beam. The opponent fires off the side strike. We withstand the damage, return fire with the Outrage. Outrage forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent's going to be forced to throw as they're going to be unable to Psycho Cut, farm us down, side strike, secures the knockout. The opponent already at side strike number 2. Ripley knows he survives this. Ripley looking to double up on charge moves. Is Drill Run going to be enough to knock out Mewtwo? No, it's not. Ripley recognising he can't Mudshot farm down, is forced to throw the next Drill Run. Drill Run secures the knockout. Can we survive the charms and reach the Rock Slide? No, we get charmed down. GG to that opponent. Excadrill into Xerneas. Despite us being a Steel type and the opponent being a Fairy, we're not favoured as the opponent has access to close combat. That'll be one-shotting us. Ripley farms up, throws the Drill Run. Drill Run goes unshielded. We then manage to CMP tie the opponent to the second Drill Run, forcing ourselves early shield advantage, which is essentially best case scenario. Xerneas, a huge core breaker for this team, has got the ability to hit all 3 Pokemon for super effective. We send out Greninja, of course, shield up the incoming close combat. The opponent then sends out Kyogre. We bank some energy and then pivot out into Garchomp. The opponent opts just to go for a Surf. Surf is going to be neutral to Garchomp due to ground taking super effective and dragon resisting water. Ripley YOLO's the Earthquake. Earthquake goes shielded. And oof, this is now looking rough. The opponent get a very nice waterfall farm down. It's now all tasked to Greninja. I think we need a miracle to win this game as this Night Slash doesn't even do half of Kyogre's remaining HP. Ripley going to invest the final Protect Shield and the opponent bait with a Surf. Will even a boost save us at this point? Ripley looking to double up on charge moves. Fires off the Night Slash. Night Slash finally gives us the boost. Ripley fires off the next Night Slash. Looking to get Kyogre out of here. Can this below half health Greninja sweep the back line? Back out comes Xerneas. Hydro Cannon secures the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Groudon. There's no shot. There's no shot. Is a boosted Hydro Cannon enough to knock out? Yes! What a win! That is insane. I cannot believe Ripley won that battle. And I apologise to anyone listening on headphones. In the next battle, we see Swampert in the lead. We see the instant pivot into Greninja, forcing ourselves early shield advantage. Oh, I need to try and get myself back together. To be honest, managing to last this long without losing my shit is pretty good for a shoutcast. The opponent say switch into a wall rain. Shout out this opponent. I thought I was the only idiot with an XL wall rain for the Master League, but evidently not. It looks like Greninja once again is a core breaker. Come on, give us another boost to close out the video. Night Slash doesn't get us the boost. Ripley fires off the Hydro Cannon. Fun fact, Hydro Cannon when resisted and Night Slash when it's neutral do exactly the same amount of damage. So in this matchup, they both do exactly 22.7%. So not only do I like to lose my shit, I like to give you some top tips for PvP, like which charge move is the way to go. So of course I would just go Night Slash all the way and just fish for that boost. Ripley gets a very nice Mudshot farm down, back out comes Swampert. We fire up the Drill Run. Drill Run does around half the opponent's remaining HP. So this one will knock out or force the final shield. Swampert obliges putting up that Protect Shield on the CMP tie. We're going to give Garchomp 2 shields for the final battle of the video and see what it can do. We send out Garchomp. Of course, Ripley is going to respect the neutral Hydro Cannon. We could even double shield and look to commit to the full Mudshot farm down, and that is exactly what Ripley is going to do. Show me something we can boom. Come on, trainer. What's your third? Fire and Flying. Charizard? Because I don't think Ho-Oh gets Fire Spin. It is indeed a Charizard. To my surprise, it actually survived a Shadow Outrage, but Ripley able to reach the BM Earthquake. And Garchomp is going to Mudshot down Swampert and close out the video in style. GG's and thanks for playing. Holy Ripley, that was a lot of fun. It's been a few days since I shoutcasted. I've had a lot going on. I've been pretty down, to be honest. However, that did cheer me up. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing if, like Ripley, you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to a battle submission form is down below. And make sure you go check Ripley out. He's also linked down below. And I'd like to say thanks for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.